Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are going to start last chapter or last unit of this book, and the title of this unit is 3 days to see. 3 days to see means 3 days for seeing with eyes. In fact, this chapter is written by an English writer whose name is Helen Keller. Helen Keller was deprived of eyesight. She was also deaf. So because she was blind, she could not see. This chapter is actually about her desire, or you can say her wish, that if she had been given 3 days to see the things, what would she have uh, seen in this world? So she is describing her wish, her desire. If she is given 3 days to see, what would she like to see in this world? Okay, let's start the reading of this chapter. Paragraph number 1. Sometimes I have thought that it would be an excellent rule to live each day as if we die tomorrow. Such an attitude would emphasize sharply the values of life. We should live each day with gentleness, vigor, and a keenness of appreciation, which is often lost when time stretches before us in the constant panorama of more days and months and years to come. There are those, of course, who would adopt the Epicurean motto of eat, drink, and be merry. But most people would be just chastened by the certainty of impending death. Okay, now look this paragraph again and underline some difficult words. This chapter includes too many difficult words and phrases. So listen again and underline some difficult words. Sometimes I have thought that it would be an excellent rule to live each day as if we die tomorrow. Such an attitude would emphasize sharply the values of life. We should live each day with gentleness, vigor, and keenness of appreciation, which is often lost when time stretches before us in the constant panorama of more days and months and years to come. There are those, of course, who would adopt the Epicurean motto of eat, drink, and be merry, but most people would be chastened by the certainty of impending death. Now see the explanation. Sometimes I have thought, I here mean Helen Keller, the writer. She is telling her about herself, about her feelings, about her thoughts. She, she says, sometimes I have thought that it would be an excellent rule to live each day as if we die tomorrow. Okay? तो कहते हैं कभी मैं सोचती हूँ कि एक अच्छा रूल होगा, एक्सीलेंट रूल होगा कि हम ये सोचें कि ये हमारा आखिरी दिन है, टू लिव ईच डे, हर दिन हम इस तरह रहें एज इफ वी डाई टुमारो, जैसा कि हमने कल मर जाना है और ये हमारा ज़िंदगी का आखिरी दिन है. दिस विल बी excellent rule. What is the purpose of such rule or such thinking? Such an attitude, such an way of life, ऐसा रवैया would emphasize stress on, दबाव देना, ताकीद करना. ऐसा रवैया ताकीद करेगा किस चीज़ पे? sharply, exactly the values of life, the ethics, the principles of life. Okay, such an attitude, if you live each day as if you will die tomorrow, every day will become very important, and this attitude would emphasize stress on exactly the values of life, the principles, laws of life. इंसान ज़िंदगी के जो असूल हैं उन पे बाकायदगी से और ताकीद के साथ अमल करना शुरू कर देगा. We should live each day with gentleness, vigor and keenness of appreciation. अगर ऐसा होगा कि ये हमारा आखिरी दिन है, कल मर जाना है, तो वी शुड लिव ईच डे विद जेंटलनेस, विद हम्बलनेस. हम नेकी के साथ नेक बन के, शरीफ बन के हर दिन गुजारेंगे. विगर, एनर्जी, स्पिरिट, इंसान की जो ताकत होती है अपनी पूरी ताकत के साथ जिंदा रहेगा. एंड अ कीननेस, ज़ील, शौक जिसे कहते हैं, कीन, ईगरनेस, ज़ील ऑफ एप्रिसिएशन. एप्रिसिएशन मीन admiration, gratitude, जिसको हम खराज तहसीन कहते हैं, which has often lost. और ये जो क्वालिटीज़ हैं, जेंटलनेस, विगर और कीननेस, ये ऐसी क्वालिटी जो अक्सर गुम हो जाती हैं, lost. When time stretches before us, when we see there is a lot of time before our life, this is not the lost day of our life, but time stretches. कई साल पढ़े हैं हम, जी सोचते हैं कभी बहुत साल पढ़े, जिंदा रहना है हमने. ओके, तो उस सूरत में ये वाली क्वालिटीज़ ख़त्म हो जाती हैं, इंसान सुस्त पड़ जाता है. ओके, this often lost when time stretches before us, spreads before us in the constant panorama, constant, continuous, मुसलसल panorama view, sight, मंजर of more days and months and years to come. जब हम देखते हैं कि हमारे सामने बहुत काफ़ी सारे दिनों का मंजर है, बहुत सारे मंथ्स हैं, ईयर्स का एक व्यू है, सीन है, और मुसलसल एक लंबा चौड़ा टाइम है, तो then we lost such type of qualities, gentleness, vigor and keenness. Right. There are those, of course, there are some people who would adopt the Epicurean motto of eat, drink and marry. Okay, if this rule is made, or we come to know that this is our last day of life, we will die tomorrow, उस सूरत में there are those, of course, कुछ लोग ऐसे होंगे who would adopt the Epicurean motto. Epicurean mean eating desires, okay, the people who desire too much eating, जिनको खाने पीने का शौक होता है, Epicurean कहा जाता है, जिसको हम पेटू कहते हैं, खाने पीने वाले, हर टाइम खाने की डिज़ायर होती है. तो ऐसी सूरत जब वो देखेंगे कि ये तो हमारी ज़िंदगी का आखिरी दिन है एंड वी विल डाई टुमारो, तो वो क्या करेंगे, दे वुड अडॉप्ट, वो इख्तियार करेंगे द एपिकोरियन मोटो. वो रूल, मोटो मीन रूल, लॉ, वो एपिकोरियंस तायुश पसंद या खाने पीने वाले लोगों का असूल अपनाएंगे. वो कौन सा असूल है एपिकोरियन मोटो? दैट इज़ ईट, ड्रिंक एंड बी मैरी. खाओ पियो और खुश रहो, हैप्पी. ओके, बट मोस्ट पीपल, आप दूसरी काइंड भी है लोगों की, बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग होंगे, दे वुड बी chastened, they would be tame, वो इस्लाह करना, chasten, उनकी इस्लाह हो जाएगी, वो सुधर जाएंगे, by the certainty of impending death. जब उनको यकीन होगा कि डेथ impending, approaching, कि सर पे मुंडला रही है मौत, कल मौत आ जानी है, तो वो क्या हो जाएंगे, वो अपनी इस्लाह कर लेंगे. कुछ लोग वो होंगे. So there will be two kind of people. Okay, this is in first paragraph, this is her thinking, general thinking. Now paragraph number 2. In stories, doomed hero is usually saved at the last minute by some stroke of fortune, but almost always his sense of values is changed. He becomes more appreciative of the meaning of life and its permanent spiritual values. It has often been noted that those who live or have lived in the shadow of death bring a mellow sweetness to everything they do. Listen again and underline some difficult words. In stories, the doomed hero is usually saved at the last minute by some stroke of fortune, But almost always his sense of values is changed. He becomes more appreciative of the meaning of life and its permanent spiritual values. It has often been noted that those who live or have lived in the shadow of death bring a mellow sweetness to everything they do. In stories, the doomed hero. Okay, there is in every story there is a hero. So in stories, in movies, films, the doomed hero mean hopeless, suffering, dying hero, जिसकी हालत बहुत ख़राब हो चुकी है ये हीरो की, is usually saved at the last minute by a stroke of fortune, by a hit, by a stroke of fortune luck. किस्मत की एक टक्कर से जो आप कह सकते हैं कि वो हीरो जो होता है आखिरी लम्हे पे सेव हो जाता है फिल्म्स में मूवीज़ में स्टोरीज़ में. But almost always his sense of values, his sense of principles, values, feelings is changed. वो चेंज हो जाते हैं, उसका मजाक चेंज हो जाता है, उसकी लाइफ के जो असूल होते हैं वो चेंज हो जाते हैं. He becomes more appreciative, more grateful or more aware. In other words, you can say कदरदान, वो कदर करने लग जाता है of the meaning of life, जिंदगी के माने की, and its permanent spiritual values, और ज़िंदगी की जो permanent रूहानी values हैं, जो असूल हैं, जो laws हैं, उनको ethics जो हैं उनकी कदर करना शुरू कर देता है. It has often been noted that those who live, जो लोग जिंदा रहते हैं और have lived in the shadow of death, या जो रह चुके हैं मौत के साए में, bring a mellow sweetness to everyone they do. ऐसे लोग mellow sweetness लेकर आते हैं हर उस काम में जो वो काम करते हैं. mellow sweetness, cordial, gentle sweetness, नरम धीमे मजाज की मिठास उनके अंदर पैदा हो जाती है. Okay, perhaps I can best illustrate by imagining what I should most like to see if I were given the use of my eyes, say for just 3 days. Now she is expressing her desire. She says, perhaps, maybe, I can best illustrate. I can best illustrate means explain, to explain. I can best explain by imagining. Imagine mean thinking. What I should most like to see if I were given the use of my eyes. अगर मुझे आँखों के इस्तेमाल दे दिया जाता, मेरा अंधापन ख़त्म हो जाता, तो मैं क्या चीज़ें सबसे ज़्यादा देखना पसंद करती. Save for just 3 days. कहने की हद तक save. Okay? मतलब कहने की हद तक कि just for 3 days. फ़कत 3 दिन मुझे दे दिए जाएं आँखों के साथ, मुझे आँखें वापस कर दी जाएं. Then what I would like to see around. Now she explains these 3 days. She says, on the first day, if I am given eyes, on the first day of my eyes, my sight, I should want most to see the people whose kindness, gentleness, and companionship have made my life worth living. Right. On the first day, I should want most to see. पहले दिन मैं उन लोगों को देखना पसंद करूंगी whose kindness, whose gentleness, and companionship, friendship, have made my life worth living. जिनकी मेहरबानियों ने, जिनकी दोस्तियों ने मेरी ज़िंदगी को worth living बना दिया, valuable, कीमती बना दिया है. मैं सबसे पहले उन लोगों को देखना चाहूँगी. The next day of my eyes, the second day of the sight, I should arise with the dawn and see the thrilling miracle by which night is transformed into day. I should behold with awe the magnificent panorama of life with which the sun awakens the sleeping earth. Right. The next day, the second day of sight, of my eyesight, I should arise means get up, wake up, with the dawn, with the morning, and see the thrilling miracle. Thrilling means exciting and miracle, wonder, moisa, by which this music is read, night is transformed, changed into day. I should behold, I should watch, I should see with awe में admiration, तारीफ के साथ, हमद और सना के साथ मैं देखूंगा किस चीज़ को, the magnificent panorama, the great panorama of life with which the sun awakens the sleeping earth. मैं ये panorama, ये मंजर देखूंगा, देखूंगी कि जिसके ज़रिए से सूरज सोई हुई ज़मीन को दोबारा से जगाता है, awakens, arise. This day I should devote to a hasty glimpse of the world, past and present. I should want to see the pageant of man's progress, the kaleidoscopic of the ages. How can so much be compressed into one day? Through the museum of course. Of this day means this second day I should devote, I should dedicate, मैं वक्फ कर दूंगी, to the hasty glimpse, hasty mean quick, rapid glimpse, slow glance, एक तेज नज़र दौड़ाऊंगी of the world, दुनिया पे, past and present, कि माजी में क्या हुआ है और अभी क्या हो रहा है. I should want to see the pageant, display pageant, the spectacle of man's progress. इंसान ने जो तरक्की की है मैं उसका डिस्प्ले देखूंगी. The kaleidoscopic of ages, and I should see the changing of ages, how the ages, how the times have been changed from past to present. पुराने जो दौर हैं वो कैसे चेंज हुए हैं. How can so much be compressed into one day? Now she says कि एक दिन में मैं ये कैसे देख पाऊंगी सारा कुछ. How can so much be compressed, condensed, compact, मुख्तसर कर देना, जमा कर देना into one day. Through the museums, of course. Yes, I would see all this pageant of man's progress, past and present, through the museums. I would go to museums and I would see there the progress of man in the past and the present. Now here is your homework of this part 1 of unit 12. Write the meaning of the following words and use them into sentences by your own. Words have been given there. You will write their meanings and sentences. Question number 2 or exercise 2 is answer the following questions. What is the Epicurean motto? What is the wish of the author? And why is the arising of the sun so special for the author? And what does she wish on the first day of her sight? Next is write the summary of today's lesson.